Correct. Got it. And got it. Yes. It is the Obi Wan Kenobi after show here on JLJ Media. I am James Lott Jr., the JLJ of JLJ of JLJ. And of course, this team is the same one you had for the Book of Boba Fett, Frank Moran and John Dunphy.
Hello.
We are here. So I'm going to do the church announcements before we get starting further. This is the Obi Wan Kenobi after show. We are on all the audio streaming services already. I have reactions to the trailers and stuff that are already there. Go ahead and check those out. We're on YouTube on JLJ Media. So if you are watching this now or later, please hit the little like button if you like us. If you don't like it, still hit it anyway. And give us your comments. You want to hear what you have to say about this new limited series that's out. That started with two episodes today. Also, for all your Star Wars needs, I have Darth Vader is your father, and that episode is out today talking about the Andor trailer that was released a couple days ago, yesterday, and the release date of August 31st. So if you want to find out, will there be an Andor after show on JLJ Media, go watch that video. You'll find everything out you need to know. That's called cross-promotion, Frank.
That is a pretty suspenseful answer. I mean, I don't know.
Just watch it. Listen, Frank, watch it. And
I'm gonna watch it.
Thank you. And it's my reaction to the trailer, and that's right. That's the Darth Vader's your father. Also, the three of us did, of course, the infamous Book of Boba Fett after show. So you go ahead and check. There's still a huge hit on my network, you guys. It's still huge every week. I don't know why. It's just still hitting. So check it out. I don't know. And of course, me and Ryan Nielsen did Mandalorian season 2. That after show is out too. So check all that wonderful Star Wars goodness. It's out there for you here on JLJ Media. Oh, and if you somebody asked the other day, I did do a Bad Batch recap review of the season on Darth Vader is your father. Confusing enough? I hope so. Okay, so that's what we did there. But we're here, and also just because someone else brought it up to me earlier, one of the opening scenes were kids being shot at in the first episode. So of course we dedicate this show and a lot of the others to the children at the at the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Obviously Disney didn't know about this. This was unfortunately happening in real life this week. So I know some folks were triggered a little bit, which I understand, of course. So our hearts go out to those families and all that. So make sure I say that. But again, they had no idea this was happening, and I know people say they fast forwarded that little quick scene. They didn't like that. And I get it. It's a little fresh right now, so I get it. So I'll make sure I say that. Help people in the chat room. So now we can talk about the show because there's a lot to unpack. 2 episodes. And also, so folks, next Wednesday, we'll be back again. So it's going to be back on Wednesday. So for some reason, they decided to release it today. A little early. It was like a little early last night. Some people got it on Thursday. I was busy doing other things. But that's, so it's out now. But Wednesdays will be the rest of the episodes. People keep asking that, you guys. I'm like, no, it's Wednesdays, not Fridays, Wednesdays. And we will be here next Wednesday doing episode 3.
So I thought it was Friday.
What?
I thought it was Friday.
Not anymore, Frank. Just today.
But it came out today on Friday.
So we're gonna ignore Frank.
I have missed you guys.
Me and Frank doing our own little shows. We always do all the time. Yes. Oh, anyway, so that's the deal. But people ask me this all of them no, it just came out today for some reason. And yes, Stranger Things season 4 came out today too. I'll be watching that this weekend. That's the story. Make sure you give a shout out to that. Hello, everybody. Come on in. Yeah, let's talk about this. So overall, what's my overall thoughts first? And I will start first really quick. I loved it. I said it's kind of funny with this whole kind of saving a kid thing that's happening in the Star Wars universe. It's a little interesting. Like Mandalorian. I'm like, what's going on there? But I enjoyed it. It wasn't what I thought it would be, which is very interesting. I mean, it's the good thing. I was like, oh, they're going to doing this. They're really going to do this. Really, fun seeing Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers there. I was like, I've seen him in concert like 4 times. I'm like, wow, okay. When I first saw him. And you saw not Boba Fett, but he was playing someone else. Something's going on there. But overall, Well, it's about the beginning. I love the beginning. So anyway, I think this show, if it does it correctly, I look at John. He looks optimistic. I look at Frank. He's Frank. So I'm somewhere in the middle. If they're doing this correctly, this will be the bridge between episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. I think it totally can be that little bridge. That's what I'm hoping it is. That's my thoughts. I'm sticking to them. Beginning thoughts. John, overall thoughts.
I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I honestly can't believe that we're here right now talking about this because I feel like we've been waiting for it forever. I was freaking out like all day at work because I was not going to stay up last night until 3 a.m. to watch it when it came out my time. But I was freaking out all day at work. Just couldn't wait to get home to watch. And it was everything that I mean, there were little things, don't get me wrong, here and there that I was like, I didn't love that. But overall, if you're asking me overall, I absolutely love this. And I like the way that they're going, the direction that it's gone so far. So, those are my initial thoughts.
Frank Moran.
This was terrible. No.
Exactly what I thought Frank was going to say. Just kidding.
There you go. Yeah, and in some interesting approaches to the story, which I was not expecting, but in a sense, I feel I don't think I think it's going to be a smaller story, which I am also surprised with as well, because I think it's only one step or maybe a quarter away of the bridge to what you want it to be. Because I still feel like this show now, after seeing these 2 episodes, I think this is much smaller, where I could see them if they wanted to come back and do another second season or third season. There is definitely that wiggle room, I think, between where in the timeline that you could easily do it. Terrible chase scenes, though, everybody. Terrible chase scenes.
Yes.
Oh my God, Frank and the chase scenes. Frank and the chase scenes. You didn't like that? No.
Oh,
especially that first chase scene. That was one of the parts when I said like I didn't love everything. That's one of the moments I'm talking about. So we can get into that.
Yes, we'll get into that. It lived up to the hype. It was great. Thank you. All right, my sister's hi sister in the chat room. Okay. So my brother and I, my brother's 3 years younger than I am, and as many of you may not know, I had a birthday recently. I just turned 53, and I know that's a long time. Still younger than Frank, but it's okay. It's just kind of older than Frank. But no, so my brother and I watched, because at first on my phone I cast it onto my TV, and the thing said skip recap. Like skip recaps the first episode. Like that was kind of weird. So I was like, I'm not gonna push it because I'm curious to see what they mean. I'm so glad I didn't push it because there was a recap. God bless America. It was like at a galaxy long. What? And then it was no crawl, just a little thing across the screen. But then literally they showed the 3 movies. See, they showed the storyline. I thought that was very, very cool. What do you guys think about that opening? What do you guys think about that?
I liked it. I thought it was great. I mean, especially since it's been a while since we've been hanging out with good old Obi Wan Kenobi. It just kind of just gets you right into like, all right, this is what's all gonna. While one thing like diehard Star Wars fans are gonna know the details, but it's still nice to just see them all kind of capsulized real quick before the story started.
I agree with that. John,
it's funny because. It was all stuff that we've seen before, right? From the prequels. Right. And I've actually, just in anticipation for this show, I've actually watched the prequel movies a couple of times recently.
Of course John did. Of course, that's what he does. That's what he does.
I just can't get enough. But I don't know if it was the way that this was edited or whatever, but I was getting like goosebumps during this little pre-show recap. Because I just knew that this was leading up to now, all right, we're getting the continuation of the story of Obi Wan Kenobi, one of the greatest characters in this whole saga. Definitely one of my favorites, and it's been one of those things, right? Like we saw Obi Wan in the prequels. Obviously, we saw him first in the original trilogy, but then later in the prequels, and it's like, all right, well, what's he been doing all this time? And we're actually getting to see that now.
It's funny because you reminded me of a soap opera. Because only in soaps, because they're on for a long time, they can reach back and show flashbacks, so to speak. It reminded me of that. That Star Wars now is that point. Star Wars has been around for almost 50 years, so to speak. Yeah. There's enough content to show where they are, and what's great about another big thing I like is that a lot of folks came back. It's really fun to see them. So what's about that to get in detail? But it was like soaps do that. There was a character that came back on Days of Our Lives, Bo Brady. Peter Reckle came back for a minute. He's a little older, a little more worn, whatever. They showed the flashbacks from back 30 years. They're like, oh my God, only on soaps they do that regularly. So it felt that for me, it felt like this is very cool to kind of give us a abridged version of like what kind of went down, and now we're caught up. I love that. I think all fans agree with me. I like that. And so folks, if you're not paying attention, we're beginning 10 years later after Revenge of the Sith. Basically, that's the timeline. That's where we're at. So I'm just in case anybody's not following. It said 10 years later. That's where we're at. I love that. Okay, so right away again, they're trying to hunt the Jedi. We're getting a real sense of like where they're at right now, which makes sense after. Totally to me. I don't know if you guys. It made sense to me. So they're trying to get Jedi, and so we meet 3 immediate characters immediately. This Reva chick who's the 3rd sister or the 5th daughter or whatever these names are. Like there's like the 5th brother and the 3rd sister and the Inquisitor or whatever. So we see them. And I just love how, when we're thick as thieves, things go wrong in the thievery sometimes. It happened later, it's made me laugh. But they have that going on. So there's stuff kind of going on. They had good setup. So what do you guys think about those first kind of opening scenes and to the reveal of Obi Wan Kenobi? Leading up to it, I should say.
I loved seeing the Inquisitors come in and land. And, I know there was a lot of criticism about the look of the Inquisitor because he does not look the way that he does in Star Wars Rebels in animation. But the second he came walking out of that ship with the other 2 Inquisitors behind him, it all went away. I was like, this is badass. I love this. And you got that whole speech in that saloon of, that speech, how do you hunt a Jedi, and this and that. And then and it's just the intimidation, the fear that they were instilling in those people, and then you see this random guy in there because I was not expecting the Inquisitors who are like hunting Jedi to show up on the planet that Obi-Wan is on literally immediately, but they didn't even realize that he was there. It's But I thought it was wild.
It was fast. No, this show is fast paced. They're not shitting around, Frank.
Yeah. Again, Tatooine is just for being such a kind of out of backwater, kind of out of the way planet. Man, it's always got a lot of stuff happening on there. It was cool to see the Inquisitors. You want to be able to set your bad guys up, and always enjoy a good a monologue from a bad guy to kind of like, hey, yeah, this is what we're all about. This is how we, this is why we're gonna stop the Jedi. So yeah, it was all right.
Yeah,
good. And so Obi Wan Kenobi is just a regular guy right now, just doing meat or whatever, fucking say butcher or whatever he's doing. He's like, they're doing meat. And he comes back to his cave, and there's always that droid humor and all those weird things, humor to Jawas. There's always this little humor in there, of course. Cutesy. Ewan McGregor looks great. He looks a little older. Obviously, because the sequels were like 100 years ago, but he looks great. I was like, it's like, okay, he's made some cute little soup or whatever, cute. And he's back. We see him, like we literally see him, and he buys the toy from a Jawa, and we see why he buys it, and we get
that toy was a big. I don't know. I was expecting it to be one thing, and then it turned out to be another. So
yeah,
it was like, oh. No, all right. I'm thinking of as soon as I see that, I'm flashing to A New Hope, and just seeing Luke cleaning R2D2 and C3PO, and he's just playing with that model. Like, oh, okay, cool. This explains how he got this, and then hearing the fact like, oh, this is such a hard thing to find. Which who knows? Maybe Jawa. That's just part of the Jawa's sales speech to be able to sell it. But then Owen just like, get your garbage out of here. We don't need garbage. We don't need you. We don't need toys.
Exactly.
So I'm like, oh no! So where now? All I'm thinking about now is like where Luke got this really hard to get supposedly model. So boy, now I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Well, I want you to sleep, Frank. I want you to sleep. I hope you can. Just let it out of your mind. Take some drugs or whatever. You'll be fine. I mean, not drugs, but like some edibles or something. You may not be sure.
I mean, I'm sure there's right now, after watching this episode, there is some fan out there that is already writing the fiction to just how either that garbaged model made its way back to Owen, or they happen to find another one, and Luke got his hold on. That's the model. So
exactly. Then we have Obi-Wan looking through binoculars. Joel Edgerton is back. Come on, people coming back as Uncle Owen, and you see little Luke, kids. Little Luke playing on a starship. So we knew that was going. We saw the trailer, so we knew that was going to happen at some point, obviously. So I mean, it's just kind of fun seeing little Luke. It's like, okay, we're moving right along. We're there. And then there is a Jedi out there, I guess. And he's the one that try to catch him. He gets away, and he gets to Obi-Wan. So I guess there are a few Jedi out there. I guess we're not counting the fake one we meet later, but like there's a few. I guess there's like 12 out there. I mean, I was like, what's his name is in this movie too? Like everybody's in the show, apparently. Everybody wanted a piece. I mean, I would love to be in the show. Trust me, I'll do anything. Whatever, just be on the show.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we see that, and then we see Leia. So we get a whole Leia story, basically, which gets bigger, and I didn't realize they were going to go that direction. I read at all. I mean, I don't think I even read anything that she was going to be in it. I don't think I saw anything that she was going to be part of it. And how do you guys? I mean, so we have Luke and Leia, which I'm happy to have some Leia story, and the whole Organa family, and Jimmy Smits is back. I'm like, what the F?
Yeah.
I mean, like, so I'm okay. So we're finding out. It's like she's like this strong-willed, everything that Leia was apparently. But like, just what's the about that? We got Luke and Leia in this story.
I will say I love it because I think when everybody thinks about the Obi-Wan story or Star Wars in general, I think your first thing is going to be thinking about Luke and Darth Vader. You're going to think about that relationship. And I always feel like it's the Leia part of it is always kind of the underserved part of that dynamic. It's like, yes, she's also Vader's child as well.
Wow.
And so I appreciated the zag that the show gave me, where all of a sudden we're seeing Alderaan. I'm like, oh, hey, cool. This is awesome.
You're right. What's a zag? That's a good thing. Way to put it, Frank.
And just getting to see young Leia. So I mean, I am fine if we don't see any more of Luke for the rest of the series, and it's just all a Leia thing. Yeah, I mean, we know where Luke's going to go. So
that's true. No, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, Leia, that's untapped stuff that we really don't know about. So to see her as a kid, kind of finding her way, I was all for it. Jimmy Smits, though, I had shades of Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in the Captain Marvel movie, where it just, God love him, but there's a little loss of the pep in the step. He's not pulling off the age that he should be playing.
Well, Frank, it's not easy.
Okay. I know, but it was just, you get those pigeons and go to work.
Exactly. Frank takes no prisoners. Okay, John Dunphy, what do you think about up to that? We got some Leia.
I have to say, just to take a minute here, I predicted this. I predicted that we would see Leia, and I did not think that. So here's the thing, though. It's funny to me because, like, in all the trailers we saw in the promos, like we saw just a little flash of Luke, and it was like, all right, well, we're gonna see a little bit of Luke, but there was no real indication that we'd see any of Leia. And she has become, after Obi-Wan, like the star of the show. And I have to say, I think that this casting of this young Leia is so perfect. Oh my goodness.
I agree.
This girl is great. I really love it. And part of the reason that I predicted this was because we never knew before this show that, like, Obi-Wan would leave Tatooine, right? Because he's there, he's watching over Luke. Right. There must be something really, really compelling that's going to, cause him to leave this planet. And what's more compelling than the other child of Anakin being in danger, right? I mean, you're there looking over one what, you know, you're looking over Luke. So what would compel you to leave Tatooine and risk, you know, this whole mission of you're supposed to be hiding out, watching over Luke, you know, and we saw how, you know, how hesitant he was to even help Leia, because he still said, and I think part of it was himself doubting his abilities, and he's been, you know, cut off from the Force and all that. So like he's not the same Obi-Wan that we remember from Revenge of the Sith, let's say, at this point. They've done a great job, by the way, of portraying him as this broken man, and Ewan McGregor in particular is just doing a great job of portraying that. But I never thought we'd get this much Leia. I thought there might be something to do with Leia that caused him to leave the planet. Never thought that she would become like this, you know, the second star of the show through the first 2 episodes, really through the first, you know, third of the season, right? We're only getting 6 episodes. So
her name is Vivian Lyra Blair. And it's funny, I just posted about an hour or so ago on Twitter, oh my God, it's so good. And literally the first 2 comments were, and that girl who plays Leia is like so good. I think so. You're saying that. Those are the first 2 comments someone said to. Was like, I'm like, you know, the casting was really, when she tells off her cousin, and the way her delivery is just calm, and the way she says it to him and shuts him up. Right. I was like, I love later when he goes, how old are you? She's like 10. So she's like a little grown woman, and the little inside things. You keep this, you'll be like a senator. Well, I won't be a senator. Well, I loved all of that. I loved all of that.
And this, so. You know what I love too about that little altercation she had with her cousin is that I think we got a little glimpse of Leia's like Force abilities there. The way that she was able to like read him and be like, you're scared of him, right? You're scared of your father, and and it's this and it's that, and you do this because of that. I almost feel like she was kind of like, you know, reading his mind, like mind probing him, like kind of like, and it was like a glimpse of that. And I feel like we always get Luke as, you know, he's the New Hope, he's this great, powerful Jedi, and we know that Leia has the Force, and she, you know, she trained at one point to be a Jedi, and I feel like we got a little chance to see like Leia, you know, her Force abilities there, which I thought was like a nice, cool thing for Leia, like this really smart, intuitive 10-year-old girl. And she's telling off her cousin, who's like being like, you're not really a part of this family.
Yeah. I agree. I really like that as well. I thought that was great. I will be interesting to see, because the other part I was thinking about too is just Leia's message to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, where there's a formality, a sense to it. So I just feel like I'm curious to see how close this relationship gets to, because I'm like, oh, well, you know, it sounded like a formal pitch, like they're not really that close. So yeah, but I'm still curious for the ride, how it's going to be. I can easily see this taking 6 episodes, just getting her back.
Yeah,
right. I have a thought about this, and like we'll see how long it takes. But like, I do know that so when she asked like, who are you, he was like, oh, I'm Ben, and that's all he really told her. So I'm wondering like we'll see how long this goes on. I'm sure at some point she's going to be returned, because we know that Obi-Wan's going to fight Vader and all that. I'm sure Leia's not just going to be like standing on the side of the room while they duel it out, you know. So like at some point she's going to get returned, and Obi-Wan's going to be like on his own, is what I think. But like it's funny because in that, you know, in the hologram that we see later on in A New Hope, she says, Obi Wan Kenobi, like, help me, Obi Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. And I'm wondering if she doesn't maybe know that Ben that she met as a 10-year-old child is the same as Obi Wan Kenobi when she's like an adult years later, you know, transmitting that message. I don't know. Just a thought. Just a thought.
I guess we'll watch the show. We did not know we were going to have this discussion. And I love it. And somebody chatting, we got Look Girl held her own amongst the veterans. Yes, Hayward Wong. Yes, Leia asked to make Ben make her float, which he did later, of course. Yes, it's it's also they brought up the whole Ben, you're my only hope. Leia says that. Yeah, so all this stuff. Yeah, we're all. That's what's so funny about this series. Like, it's really tying everything. We kind of like think. I mean, it's like, I feel like this is one of the few for Star Wars direct movie to this kind of connection. Am I correct? I mean, I know some of the Clone Wars, so that is too, the animated stuff, but for the stuff, I mean, Boba Fett kind of started out that way. But I'm like, this one seems like it's almost like a direct leak. Am I right?
I would think so, because I mean, I feel like everything else other than Boba Fett, but he wears his mask a lot. Yeah. And I guess it's the one sense where that's not really I mean, it's the character, but not the original actor.
Right.
But it's sort of because of the prequels. But this is Ewan McGregor, a guy who played Obi-Wan for 3 films, and you're really seeing it now. This feels like, just more tied in. It's like if you were to see like a Luke series that took place after Return of the Jedi, you'd be like dialed in, like with Mark Hamill. You'd be like, whoa, what? This is great.
Yeah,
that's true. Now we have the obligatory scene of Uncle clinging to him, saying, "Don't give him that toy," throwing it at him. Yeah. The kind of the bickering family, so to speak. Remember, we get that a little bit. But as always, right outside, it does on all the Star Wars shows. Right outside, we have some people coming through, the Inquisitors, and Homegirl is too much. I'm sorry, I did chuckle when she cut off Homegirl's hand. And the hand is fell through. I was like, "Well, you should have been talking, bitch." She's like, "Well, you know how to jurisdiction." I'm like, "Okay, bitch, you're just gonna cut off your hand." She just said, "You're gonna cut off your hand," and you cut off your hand. And the bitch shut up afterwards. She shut up. She was like, her hand went flying somewhere, or whatever. I was like, "Hello." She is obsessed. Homegirl, the third sister, 10th sister. She is obsessed with Obi Wan Kenobi. You find out later why, but she is obsessed. And of course, she hones in on, this part was a little hokey for me. She hones in on Owen. I was kind of like, of course, while Homeboy's watching, and the lightsabers on his neck. I mean, that part was a little staged for me. I was like, okay, you're trying to make a point. How do you guys feel about that whole thing?
Well, you got to give Joel Edgerton a reason to want to come back and play. It's like, hey, you get a scene.
That's true. You're right.
I will say my just hot take, John, is that I enjoyed the performance of the Grand Inquisitor more than I enjoyed the third sister. Third sister performance.
There were some lines, like delivery of lines, that I just wasn't buying from her. There were a couple times that she would, give a line that was supposed to be like super serious or like, or like very like dramatic, and I just kind of felt like, I'm not buying it.
I was right
but yeah, she's wild. I didn't love though that I like that Obi-Wan has left the planet to go save Leia, but I didn't like that they had the third sister, they had Reva target Owen, because that makes me feel like maybe Obi-Wan shouldn't be leaving.
Right.
Like the guy that's watching Luke and raising Luke just had a lightsaber to his neck from the Inquisitors, and now I'll see you guys later. I don't know.
I would feel like if they hadn't shown that other Jedi that was being hunted, being strung up, that may have given him more pause, because then it would have been a threat. She could have they'd still be around, and there's plenty of reason for her to then I'm just gonna go F with this guy at this butcher farm for a little bit, and just screw around with him and his family for a while.
Right. That's true. That's fair.
But see, as we were talking, he's about the Grand Inquisitor. I liked him too, actually, because he had no ball, he had no shame. He was just like, and that whole scene, like I said, when the thieves turn on each other, basically, when they looked at her they kept warning her throughout the shows, both shows, you're too much, you're too impulsive, you're too this, you're too that. But then when he broke it down, talk about as we call in our world, a read. He opened the book and he read her, and he stood there and was like, the difference between us, you are the lesser of the three, like the three of us. Like that was like addressed her down. I was like, we found you in the gutter. I was like, dang, just like we'll deal with you. He's like, we'll deal with you when we get back, when we return. But just deactivate her basically and just shut her down. And she was like, ooh, she was pissed when we saw later. Yeah, but she was pissed. But I was like, dang, Grand Inquisitor, you are evil. Oh, mean, people.
I like that we're seeing this though, like this infighting with the Inquisitors, because that's true to the canon. It's, if you look at it, Darth Vader was cutting off the Inquisitors' hands and fighting them and injuring them, and even within the Inquisitors, they were fighting for power and supremacy among that group. So it's that's true to it, and I like that they're not just all on the same team. We're the Inquisitors and we're hunting Jedis. It's no, they're fighting among themselves. It's I like it.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's kind of like that survival of the fittest. I've got a feeling, it seems, that
I thought about that. I thought about that.
Yeah.
I thought about that, Frank. I thought about that. But what's interesting is we get a new planet that we've never seen before. Not just another side of a planet we've been on before. A whole new planet, you guys. Dayu.
Yeah.
Hi, kids. Welcome to Dayu. Planes, everybody. Planes, smiles, whatever. It's cute. I think it's cute. Lots of neon. I wrote down lots of neon. It was cute.
I wrote down what happens on Dayu stays on Dayu.
That's right, kids. But then here we go, kids. So his homegirl's kidnapped. She got her little thing, Lola, or whatever. She's kidnapped, whatever, by Flea. I was like, I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Okay. But the part that made me
chicken a few times.
I was like, hey, I was like, come on, folks. Like, get away now. No.
Can we take one moment before we dive into
yes.
The chase? Just horribly filmed.
You said you hated it. That's why I bring it up, because you hated it so much. Yes. So yes, you didn't like it.
I mean, I understand the reason for it, but and it's great, but I think you could have shot that so much more logically, and like to see these grown humanoid creatures like deliberately running into tree branches. Like,
yes.
what is this?
I read somewhere, I was like, wow, they really Disney-fied that that chase scene through the forest. It's like that. I don't remember the green person that was with the kidnapping party, just like randomly tripping over like a small branch.
It happened.
Like they could have just had her run up to to Flea, and then the other two come up behind and they throw a bag over her head. It didn't even have to be a chase scene. Like, and it just turned out so cheesy and like kind of like all right.
You need action. You need some action.
Yeah, but it's not well done action, and it's like I can understand that scene if it's going to show something about Leia's craftiness and she's able to get out of it or somehow escape. But like John said, I agree with you, John. I feel like it could have been cut because it really did nothing. It just added time and made the kidnappers look foolish, and just the direction of it that did it. Even if they shot it better where the kidnappers were more, I wouldn't even been taken out if the scene existed and they had said like, all right, realistically, you would duck under this branch instead of just running into it, or going up to it being like stymied, like, oh, how can I get this? Well, bend down and go under the branch. That's like,
it's like, oh my God, this branch. What do I do? Oh.
Like, as a person who ran to a tree branch last weekend, and I have a scar now. Actually,
I
literally ran to. I was on my phone and ran to a tree branch outside of Big Lots.
All right.
Well, I understand tree branches.
I apologize. Then I did not want to make light of your situation. I apologize.
I'm sorry, Jay.
Right here now. I busted my head open. I go to hospital. I was like, damn. It's crazy.
The way they acted though, that tree branch, it was like a closed door. One of the Star Wars patented like big doors like slammed down, like, oh, I can't get through. Yeah. Like, just bend down, buddy. Just bend down. And you're fine.
It didn't happen that way. So there.
Ugh.
Okay. The point I just want to make.
Did Flea take anybody out? Did Flea take anybody? Because I mean, my thing was just like Back to the Future Flea, just looking at that joke. But did anybody were like Flea? Yeah, okay.
I was like, but first me a second, I'm like, that is who I think it is. It took me a second. I was like, wait a minute, that is who I'm looking at, right? I'm like, okay, because some actors can look like somebody else. I'm like, wait a minute, that is Red Hot Chili Peppers Flea. Okay, and then the credits it said Flea. I was like, all right, like Lady Gaga said Flea. No name, no, that's real name. Like, okay, I don't even know what this character's name is. I just kind of come Flea. I guess I don't know. But so he gets to Dayu, gets there. Of course, a Spice Girl.
There you go.
Comes up.
Was it baby Spice was there?
Sporty Spice. Look like Sporty Spice to me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking. And kind of gives this dire look. It has like of course it's nighttime there, but I guess all planets are, I don't know, but I guess it's nighttime. So it has like this kind of inner urban city look. She gives him some spice, which he uses later creatively. But he gives her one for free. But he also sees veteran trooper, down and out, with hair and facial hair. And I was like, wait a minute. Yes, folks, it was Tamora who plays Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Wait. So what do you think about that? I mean, I was like, was that supposed to be like a little wink to us, or I mean, I don't. What was that?
This broke my heart, honestly. This scene, it broke my heart. With these clones just got cast aside. They were used.
He had more lines than he did that episode where he nodded. He had more lines.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's totally true.
Episode of Boba Fett.
I didn't even think about that. That's actually very funny.
He had more lines. No, seriously, he had more lines.
Yeah,
he did his own God for taking
It's totally true. Here's what got me. If you notice the colors that were on his armor, that clone trooper was a member of the 501st, which is the clone battalion that Anakin led. Yeah. Which means that Obi-Wan probably saw this clone trooper and knew that. The clones all, they were all taking out the Jedi, and Obi-Wan still gave him credits to help him. Yeah, and I part of me felt like Obi-Wan probably thinks like I probably fought alongside this guy in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. I got that. I got there was some kind of connection, kind of feeling that he had for us. Why he gave him the credit. I totally got that. But I was like, when you first see the shot where it's like the helmets, it's all messed up, and then you look at him like, that's Homeboy. Anyway, so Frank, what do you think about that whole little piece of moment?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where he's set for plenty of cameos, not just Boba. It appears in the Star Wars universe, depending on how they'd want to use him. Whether we see something in Ahsoka, who knows?
That's true.
Like one of the Bad Batch brought into live action. So I mean, I thought that was interesting. The one thing is like, I know it's been 10 years, and I'm sure he's been on some rough luck since getting the boot from the Empire. But it's like, I don't know. You think I don't know. I think you'd recognize Obi-Wan, maybe.
Well, I was wondering that too, because like the chip, right, that all the clones got, that like caused them to then execute Order 66. Maybe it only had a few years shelf life or something. You know what I mean?
Like ran out, Frank. The battery ran out.
Yeah, I wonder why. Or I actually read something after I watched it. I was like, oh, he was probably drunk or something. Like it was a very, in a way, it was weird because it was like the homeless veteran that you see on the street. That's like,
exactly. Yes,
everybody's forgotten and treated so poorly after they've made this great sacrifice and all that. And it's like, it was like, I really saw that moment in it, and I don't know. It was just that whole thing was like, I was not expecting it. Let's just say that. But yeah.
And we meet the black kid is out there too. We see later is a cohort of a faux Jedi, I call him, starring Kumail Nanjiani. Sure, okay, why not? He's in this movie too, in this show too. Who plays Haja and is making scams, but kind of helping people at the same time, helping this mother and daughter, or mother and son get out safely, whatever. But he of course plays a comedic kind of smart-assy role. And he's not really a Jedi. It's just kind of his thing he's using. I don't know. So did he add anything to the show, you think, or?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's. I mean, going by the way that these two episodes end, it feels like I don't think we're going back to that planet. Yeah. So I mean, and even though he sent them to somewhere where other people will be able to help him. Yeah, I feel like maybe his part of the story is done. He did his bit to delay the third sister enough. So
yeah, I mean, he served his purpose because Obi-Wan and Leia had finally gotten to the port to leave, and they were hearing the announcements. There's no travel in or out, and everything's shut down. And this guy comes along and gives them a way out. He served his purpose. He was very funny, like you said, James. Like he was helping people, but he's kind of a jerk, because he's conning people. But at the end of the day, he kind of really helped out Obi-Wan and Leia. I feel like I don't know how they would have gotten out of there without him.
So, folks, I don't watch any of this stuff. So, as a comment made in the chat room, I say it to you too, from Hayward Wong, a buddy. This role of this is Johnny. This role is better than he was in Eternals.
Ooh, interesting.
So was Kunal in Eternals? Was he in that?
He was. He was one of the Eternals.
So he was one of He was one of my favorites in that movie too. Actually,
They liked him.
to be honest, I like that movie more than I think a lot of other people do.
Oh, okay.
It gets a lot of criticism, but I enjoyed that movie, to be honest, and I loved him, and it was great to see him in Obi Wan again. Now so.
I mean, if you're going to be, in a Star Wars series for even one episode, I mean, you wanted to be with the title character. So boom, you got that. Yeah, you're going to do some scenes with, especially Obi Wan Kenobi.
Yeah,
yeah. So I feel like if you're a Star Wars fan, check that off as a very satisfied tick on the box of like cool things you've gotten to do in your life.
Yeah,
I agree. So now he's in a spice lab, I guess, or a meth lab for spice or something. He's in there. Sets off a little explosion. We have a little chase here and there, and of course, he thinks he spots Leia, but it's not Leia. It's a dummy. It's a dummy.
Just really just narrowly, tightly wrapped up.
I know, it was so weird, Frank. I was like, I feel like Frank in that scene going, hey, what's going on here? Come on. That's not a little
He walked in and I was like, that's not Leia.
That's not Leia.
I was like, what are you talking about? He's not in the right room.
Yes. Oh my good night. So that was kind of funny. But
actually, to hop back for 1 second, James.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know if this ticked on you. It kind of ticked on me is when Obi-Wan is getting on the flight to leave to go there. Because I know we saw in Mandalorian, the whole big thing is you got to check your weapons. Yeah. How did he get around not having to check his blaster or his lightsaber?
They didn't ask for it.
But they didn't. Who knows? Anyway, that's just something that ticked me.
Because Mandalorian's later, so maybe they started asking for it later.
Yeah, maybe that's true too. You're right.
Back then, they just didn't back then. So maybe just later on. So look at the timeline. Maybe later on, that's when they started saying that check weapons.
Right. Well, we had two different regimes in power, right? Right now it's the Empire, right. And at the Mandalorian, at that point, it was the New Republic or whatever, right? So two different governments.
Yeah, maybe.
Very true.
That's what I say. Yeah, so I didn't think about that part. But I just thought it was just kind of fun how he flipped his thing and he saw the lightsaber.
Yeah, very cavalierly. I'd be like, well, keep that under wraps, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah. It was for us. It was for us.
Aren't you right? It's like, aren't you trying to hide?
It was
all of a sudden you're like
audience. It was for the audience. The director said, flick it to the audience so you have one as you go on.
Oh, I wouldn't have bought it otherwise.
Come on, Frank. It's called production. Come on, Frank. But he does get captured briefly, and Flea and company capture him in one little rooms or whatever. But he uses that spice file he got for free, and they all get high. So that's when he gets out.
I thought the music drop of Spice Up Your Life was a little weird, but
I thought it was perfect. I was like, Spice Up Your Life it hits right there. It's like it's perfect for Spice Girl. That was wonderful. So he finds Leia, actually, and the adventure begins, or the new adventure starts to begin. To me, it reminded me of The Mandalorian. It reminded me first he gets the child, and now the adventure kind of gets to bring the child home. I was like, this is so weird. Weird hit me weird a little bit. Like this is it's all about the kids. That's very Disney-fied, very Disney-fied, right? About the kids. And I was thinking, as I was watching it, we're really getting a Leia story. So to speak. Like I was in the middle, I was like, I really didn't expect this much of Homegirl. And basically the rest of the episode is them trying to escape. So how do you feel about all those fight scenes and shooting scenes? And I mean that it was because literally it's trying to disguise each other. She's asking all these questions. It was a classic buddy pick kind of thing where the older guy and a kid. It was like a classic. To me, it turned into that kind of almost farce, so to speak, action thing. Yeah. So how do you guys feel about that?
Because what is interesting is it's I guess there's that shades because it's the adult and the child kind of dynamic.
Yeah.
But I think the twist on it is that it's Leia is just a reason, just an excuse, just a prop, because the real target is Obi-Wan. But the cool thing about the story is that all the Inquisitors don't realize how close they really came, to really doing something awesome and having Leia, but not realizing what they had in front of them the whole time.
Exactly.
They're so focused on Kenobi. I thought, John, tell me how you felt. Did this chase sequence of Obi-Wan trying to get Leia, this bugged me as well too.
The rooftops? No, you like that?
Through the markets and all that. Ugh.
I didn't love it, but this chase scene was definitely better than the first chase scene. So it's like, all right, at least you've got, it's a little kid running through big crowds and everybody's shooting at Obi-Wan because Reva sent out that alert. So it's like he's trying to fight people off while also chasing after this girl. And, so it was a little better to me, but it was just funny to me. Like James, you said, like, there's always a child involved that's being rescued and like brought along. And it's like, they're always some kind of little troublemaker, it's like, and it's like, it is funny.
Always.
Yeah, it is funny.
Geography though, I thought was because he's on the rooftop and he's fighting the dragon lizard-esque dude. Then all of a sudden our 4-lam kind of bounty hunter robot shows up as well too. So he's kind of fighting both of them. He takes out the dragon guy, and then all of a sudden we just saves Leia, and we just cut to him on the ground floor. I'm like, wait a minute, you were also heavy in fire with the other guy.
Right.
That was weird. Like I was just walking like, hi Leia, here I am. I'm like,
yeah.
No, I did think
it's as if like the guy that whoever was left there like shooting at Obi-Wan was like, oh, he's trying to save this girl from falling. I'll stop shooting.
Good. We're good.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'll play fair. It's cool.
Right.
Well, it's funny. I mean, I'll go back in a second because Haja actually, we said earlier, helps Obi-Wan. He said he wants to make amends, kind of wants to like just trying this thing. But what's funny is his scene with the fifth daughter, sister, brother, uncle, cousin. They were there together. Reva and they were together. It's kind of funny because he's trying to play out like I'm a Jedi. She's like, you're not a Jedi. And she reads his mind, of course, and find out where he's direction he's going to that safe place to get on that ship to get out. And then of course, I mean, in the middle of all of that, towards the end, revelations are made to Obi-Wan because he thinks at this point, I also forget to remind myself, he thinks Anakin's dead.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I said, oh my God, that's right. He thinks he's dead. I mean, he's not even thinking about, he doesn't know what happens later, and he doesn't know what's going on there. But like, that's right. So he's on the assumption he has to look after the kids, so to speak, because homeboy is dead.
Yeah.
And for Padme, he had that nightmare or whatever. I said, I forgot about that. So when she starts talking and mentions that Anakin is alive, Ewan McGregor's face was so good. Like he was just like, oh my goodness. Like you just told me something that really is rocking my world right now. And it was such. Thank God he's a good actor. Like it was just really great. There was no dialogue. He was just like taking that in. And she said it with such glee, like, he's alive,
right,
kind of thing. Meanwhile, she killed the Inquisitor. And was like, look who's in the gutter now, mother effer. That's what she wanted to say. I'm paraphrasing.
I got to tell you, I don't think he's dead.
And she shot it right through his being.
We saw Darth Maul get cut in half.
That's true too.
And the reason I say this is because the Grand Inquisitor appears in Star Wars Rebels and is killed.
He does. You're right. He does.
That.
Yes.
And I have a feeling that he's going to be brought into the Bacta tank, and he's going to be healed, and he's going to come back in the end and get his revenge on Reva or something like that.
Okay, so wait a minute.
My guess.
No, wait a minute for a second. Okay, let's just stop for a second so we can get the timeline going. So, because Clone Wars and then it's Rebels, right? They're right after right after, right? Okay, I remember that. Okay, so and they're right after the Clone Wars, right? They're not after Revenge of the Sith, are they? No.
So this Kenobi is like in between where the Clone Wars ends and Rebels begins. This Kenobi series is like between those two series. Yeah,
okay. I was trying to figure that out. Okay,
because Rebels is closer to Rogue One, right?
Yes.
Which Andor, of course, folks, is the prequel to that. Which I'm very excited. And I liked Rebels.
I'm so pumped. Yeah,
I liked it.
I was surprised that Kumail actually made it. Survived because we saw her just cut off some lady's hand who sassed her at Tatooine,
Yes.
For some guy that's just kind of being an obstacle, I would have thought, given her previous behavior, she would think nothing of just killing this guy, even if she to play the beat because she needs the information from him, but still then just killing him.
Right.
For just
I thought so
wasting
too.
your time.
I thought just for S and giggles, she was going to kill him too.
So
but she didn't.
So here's another reason why I think that the Grand Inquisitor is still alive too, because his species, the Powans, they have two stomachs. He got stabbed like through the stomach. So I've already seen some stuff online too that like he's probably fine.
I've been stabbed. I have like 4 stomachs, and I've never been stabbed in any of them. I don't understand. I don't mean. I guess it'll be okay. I guess just stab one of the stomachs. Stab all of them.
It was interesting though, because I did notice the way she reacts when she realizes that Kumail is not a Jedi, even though he's trying to impersonate being one.
Yeah.
And she has definitely a look on her face. It's like, well, why are you trying to impersonate? Like there's just a moment where you kind of like, there is a bit of doubt. So I could see where that was enough to shake her. Maybe she doesn't kill Kumail because of that's, somebody actually wanting to be a Jedi instead of being trying to hide that.
Yeah.
And of course, he gets away, and she's like, "We'll destroy you," and blah blah blah, as they're taking off, whatever.
I would think it's pretty easy to track a cargo ship, though.
Frank, I don't know. Maybe they don't have the technology. I don't know at that time.
That comes later.
It comes later, Frank. It comes later. I don't know.
That's the New Hope.
Exactly. No, but I did like the cute little chat with Obi-Wan and Leia said, "You remind me of someone else," and but he remind me of that's part Disney-fied also. It's very Disney-esque. I get it, but it was kind of cute.
I loved it, honestly. I actually loved that part.
Yeah, it was cute. It was really cute.
It was your mother. She died of a broken heart.
Well, it's interesting to me too, because Obi-Wan is having that conversation with Leia. You remind me of someone talking about her mother moments before he learns that her father is still alive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just that whole thing was kind of cool to me.
I really like, this is a series that I would love. I mean, I would love to see right now, and maybe by the end of episode 6, I'll be like, I don't know, I changed my mind. I'm good. But right now, I mean, I feel like I would still want to see more, like a season 2. So we'll see. Because I guess maybe that's just the geek inside me, where I was like, I don't want just one encounter between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader in this series, and then we just go to A New Hope, and that's it. Give me one more into season 2.
But they're saying it's a limited series, so that means only the episodes so far, no other seasons, apparently, just a limited series.
I'm sorry. No, I was just gonna say I'm so excited too, because so we know Obi-Wan and Vader are gonna see each other, right? And
I was trying, John and Frank, I was trying to hold on before we get to that part.
All right. You go.
My man. We're gonna talk about it. So I'm trying to get all the other stuff out first.
I'm sorry.
We're almost right there.
I'm sorry. I don't want to ruin it. I'm sorry, James. I apologize.
He deserves the end of our show that he deserves. He deserves the time.
You're totally right.
That's what I'm like. We gotta hold on.
I will hold off. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So the last thing is the last frame of him is saying Anakin. He's in the ship saying Anakin. So that's one big thing there too. But here we go. They're saying in the chat room. I was trying to get there. I was like, that's the last thing. I love him. He's my dad.
I ruined it. I'm sorry.
You didn't ruin it. It's fine. You didn't ruin it. You're almost there. We're getting there. Because in the back the tank that Frank wants for his house, we see Darth Vader, basically. It's Anakin. It's his body. And that signature nasal thing that happens when he breathes, I don't know if that was added on for us or he's actually doing it to bank the tank, but there he is. And I was giddy as a 10-year-old boy watching the original Star Wars. I was so excited. I'm like, there's my man. I'm so happy. And so now we go into what we think is going to happen. Now we go into it. So Frank, what did you think?
I mean, one question I have is
What's
just
your one question?
back to tank technology.
Yes,
Because I mean, we see we see Luke dipped in there. We saw specifically Boba Fett, who comes out of a Sarlacc pit, spends a lot of time chilling out in that back to tank. I mean, not as much time as Darth Vader does cumulatively over the years. Yet and Boba comes out like, looking good. Darth Vader never does. I don't understand that. Like, why? Because we know he still has that big head scar that we've all seen in Empire, and we're like, what's going on underneath there?
Well, wait, and also, what's his name was in the back to tank too? The Chrysanthemum, right? No, not Chrysanthemum. Cobb Vance.
Yes,
Cobb Vance. Yeah.
No, that back to tank. I think I want one too, just in case. Just anything happens.
Yeah. I'm curious why it heals somebody's flesh like Boba, but does not with Darth. I mean, it's not going to grow back his cybernetic, the areas that have been cut off, but the parts of his body that are still intact, the flesh that's burned or whatnot, why it does not.
I think because he was worse off than Boba, wasn't he? In the grand scheme of things, Darth had it worse than Boba.
He was very charred.
True, but I'd also think I mean, Boba's like acid burns and all that stuff, and he was in there for a small amount of time. But I mean, Darth Vader,
Frank's right.
Like, I would think decades of a back to tank might do something.
Do we think is it possible? Because we know, right? Like, part of the reason that Darth Vader was always so uncomfortable was because Emperor Palpatine made it so, right? He wanted Darth Vader to be uncomfortable, to be in pain. Do we think that Palpatine could have been affecting his back to tank to not fully heal him?
He was slipping his back to tank was like a big Mickey. It was that was it. It was a
We're
placebo.
We're just gonna take one ingredient out. You take one ingredient out.
I mean, he's evil, so I mean, we can't put anything past him. I mean, he's evil. I mean, that's what you. I mean, who knows?
I mean, because that's what I've always heard and read is that once Anakin was so injured, Palpatine wanted him to be uncomfortable and purposely made Darth Vader's suit uncomfortable so that it would feed the anger within Anakin to make him just that much more reinforced in the dark side, because he's always angry, he's always in pain, he's always feeling this agony, so I don't know, maybe Palpatine set up this back to tank to never fully heal him.
I would love it, just for no other reason, just for me, just a scene of him, of Darth Vader talking to the Emperor about it, and Darth leaving the room, and the Emperor just boy, it fell for that one again, huh? Whatever it is, I just what a dummy, this guy.
I don't know. I didn't think that hard about it. I just figured that Darth had it really rough compared to this. I mean, it was a rough time for him. So
I think we have our in James to pitch a series to Lucasfilm. Let's do this. It's all about the back to tank.
Let's do it, Frank. I'm in. I'll write it. I'll write it. Give it to me. I'll write it.
All right.
Let's do it. Well, I want to back to tank shit. But we get to see him. So we knew he was coming on the show. And so now I want you, John, to kind of go into how excited you are, it's like I am, to see a showdown. Now, I had heard somewhere else that Anakin's going to show up in another series too, briefly. I can't remember what series it's going to be.
I've heard Andor he might show up in.
Yeah, I heard that too, but I wasn't sure it was going to be Anakin. It was prequel, so I wasn't sure it was going to be Anakin or Darth. Darth shows up at the end of Rogue One. So I'm just kidding, but I heard they said that Hayden's going to be on that show too for a minute. So they moved him around. Get his career back, I guess, folks. But anyway, John, as you were saying about earlier how excited you are, tell us.
Well, so it's interesting because there is, at the end of this episode, right, when we heard Obi-Wan whisper Anakin, right? Anakin's name.
Yes.
There was a part of me that felt like, okay, he's probably feeling shocked and scared that Darth Vader is still alive, that Anakin's still alive, because he thought he killed him 10 years ago. But there's a part of me that feels like, he might be thinking, maybe I can talk to Anakin and bring him back, bring him back to the other side. And there's a line in the original trilogy where Luke says to Darth Vader, I know there's still good in you. I can sense it. And he actually says, Obi Wan Kenobi thought the same way that you did at one point. And I feel like we might get like a really great scene in this where Darth Vader and Obi-Wan are fighting, and Obi-Wan's trying to say, like, listen, this isn't you. Like, you shouldn't be on the dark side. I just feel like that's another connection to the original trilogy that I'm really like hoping for. Because I feel like that's a line that we've heard, from the original trilogy. Like, Obi-Wan, thought that he could maybe bring Anakin back over to the light side. And maybe we'll get to see them as they're having a lightsaber duel or something, and Obi-Wan being like, I know you're my brother and you're the chosen one, and and I'd love to see that sort of like bridge between this brand new series, and the original trilogy, where we hear Darth Vader telling Luke, Obi-Wan once thought the same way that you did, that there was still good in me, but there's not. And it's like, I love the connections we're getting between the prequels and the originals, and it's everything is awesome, and I love this show, and I already love it.
Everything is awesome. Wrong.
But yeah, that's what I'm excited about.
I think he's excited. I think he's a little excited.
I'm very excited.
I guess
Frank's kind of like, I don't know, but you seem excited.
Yeah, it's tough to tell. John's hiding it well, so.
Listen, I've been waiting so long for this show, and it's finally here.
I know. I was saying we so basically just covered just 2 episodes. No, I thought overall it was very well done. It was a nice opening to a series, 2 episodes. But see, then again, I enjoyed Boba Fett's first 2 episodes also. And we'll see what happened there. So I'm hoping the momentum continues. Deborah Chow, I think her name is. She was the one who helmed this, directed, produced. Hugh McGregor's the producer I saw on it also. I didn't see Dave Filoni or anything in any of this teleplay or story, anything. So it was like, other folks wrote this.
I will say, I did read that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau were on set for a lot of the filming, and particularly with the Grand Inquisitor. And Dave Filoni obviously had a huge hand in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and that's another reason why I don't think the Grand Inquisitor is dead, because Dave Filoni had such a big part in Rebels, where we see the Grand Inquisitor appear there. So it's like, if he's on set and he's kind of supervising this stuff, he's not going to allow the Grand Inquisitor to die now.
Frank, I think John thinks the Grand Inquisitor's not dead. I think he thinks
he's alive.
He's alive.
He's alive. He's alive. I want to share John's enthusiasm.
I know you want to, Frank. I know you want to.
Oh man.
My enthusiasm is tempered now after watching these first 2 episodes. That if they, because I want an awesome, something that's been denied me, is an awesome Obi-Wan and Darth Vader fight. But the way they have shot a couple of the action sequences and chase scenes in these first 2 episodes opens the door to me having doubts that it would be a satisfying scene.
Yeah. Well, Frank, do you think, I'll go John too, do you think they're trying to more set up the Reva third sister, daughter, mother, father, that Reva and Obi-Wan are the big thing? I think they're trying to set that up as like, we're going to have a big climax with them too, because she's trying to get him for Vader.
Yeah.
And then we'll get Vader possibly, but I think are they trying to set up those two now? Like, this is like, I'm going to find you, I will destroy you, you can't run, you can't hide, that whole thing.
I feel like it's tough to say how much like Darth Vader will be in this.
Right.
I would love lots of it, but I could easily see it being like you were saying, James, where the focus more is on the third sister and Obi-Wan, which is a little sprinkling of Darth in there just to kind of whet your appetite. But we're not going to give you like a big. I still feel like there is some Darth Vader series that is going to happen. I feel like
I hope so, Frank. I hope so. And see, Frank, when you say that to me, Frank, it makes me love you more every moment when you say that to me. That's what I want.
given how well they do with the comics, it just seems natural that there is plenty of stuff that you could do with Darth Vader as
I
the
hope
of the
so.
series.
Yeah.
My other hopes were dashed with the Wonder Twins. They actually ended that. I'm pissed. When we give me a Darth Vader series, that will make up for everything. I have the comic. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I mean, I'm really surprised coming out of Celebration there wasn't an announcement on that.
See, I think that episode 3 here is going to pick up right where episode 2 left off, and I think we're going to get a heavy Darth Vader episode next week. That's my guess.
You really think that? Because I feel like, is it going to be the whole returning Leia back to Organa?
It's possible, but I think at least a good portion of the episode is going to be dedicated. I think we're going to pick up episode 3 in that back to tank, and now maybe he's coming out of it. Maybe that's what we'll see, in that trailer where the prosthetic hand gets put on and all that, and like he comes out of the tank, he gets put into the full suit, and maybe he's being briefed on, all right, the Inquisitors are out there. We had a run-in with Obi Wan, but he got away. I mean, that's something that would be reported to Darth Vader, right? Like that the Inquisitors are out there hunting Jedi, and they had an encounter with Obi Wan Kenobi. Nobody's been able to find him for 10 years, right? And I feel like we're gonna have some Darth Vader in the next episode. I really, really do.
See, I don't know if I think we're gonna get more Leia and possibly return back to Luke. Go back to Owen and Luke. I feel like there might be some kind of return back to Tatooine and that whole thing. I feel like there's something. I don't know. I mean, trust me. I want Vader. Yeah. I don't know if the next episode will be it. I feel like almost like Frank said, they're going to sprinkle him in, and then maybe last 2 episodes or last episode, it's a big epic.
Right.
Hopefully, if they do it right.
I feel like the challenge possibly with Darth Vader is that I feel like you want to get more introspective with him, but the people around him, it doesn't allow that for him. And talking to the Emperor, he can't do that because the Emperor's all about keeping him on task. And like, don't be thinking about these Jedi stuff. That's stupid. You hate them. Remember, you hate them. Well, so there's and then to talk to anybody else is like a signal of weakness. That I feel like, so I feel like I would love to get more introspection about how he feels about Obi-Wan and whatever's been going on. I just don't know if there's a character around Darth Vader that would allow him to like in a comic, it's easy, or a book, because you can just write internal narration in his head and cover all that. But it's tough to do in a TV or a film to be able to get that.
Yeah. If we're talking about people around Vader, I think there's more to the third sister, to Reva. I think there's more to her. Like, even with her scream, the fact that she was willing to just stab the Grand Inquisitor at the end of the second episode, and then she's screaming at Kenobi at the end, "You can't escape. He's gonna find you. We'll find you." Blah blah blah. I almost feel like there's more. Like, I feel like that Reva, and this is just a guess, this is just my opinion, I think that the reason that Reva is so bold in some of these moves is because she's closer to Darth Vader than like some of the other Inquisitors think. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just a guess, but I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, and this is just a guess, like I've said, but I think that she has a connection to Darth Vader. I think we're going to get more Darth Vader in the next episode. And I think we might see, I think there's a reason that we're seeing Reva being so defiant against the Grand Inquisitor and the rest of the Inquisitors. There's a reason that she's so obsessed with Obi Wan Kenobi and just will go after him and, disobey orders, from her commander and this and that. I feel like we're going to see more of Darth Vader next episode. I think we're going to learn more about Reva. I could be completely wrong. These are just feelings that I have.
Well, they said that they said the Inquisitor said, you came to us. That's what he said. You came to us.
Yeah.
So where did she come from?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like she's certainly Force sensitive at the very least. So she's got the Jedi ability. So I feel like she could have been one of those younglings.
I think so too.
I'm with Frank on that one. I think so too.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Well, I mean, Anakin certainly killed a bunch of them in Revenge of the Sith. I mean, still, with that over, he could be looking for like an Ahsoka kind of replacement, since that was such a close. And I think we've seen with the Sith side of the Force that, certainly there are, the master and the apprentice, but even like the apprentices have their kind of like apprentices as well that are like on the books, just kind of like,
right.
So it could be that she's one of the younglings that he's kind of taken a shine to her and kind of raised her up that way. And maybe her arc is like, because I think with anything with Vader, it's you think you're close and then you cross some line that you don't realize, and then Vader takes you out.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. Because she has a backstory that's only been alluded to. And these shows like to show you backstory. They usually do.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to get some of her backstory as we go along. I think.
Yeah, because I don't think you show. I mean, it was great seeing not great, but going back to the Jedi Academy and seeing everybody, being master. But I don't think you take us in the way that shot is framed, and we're following this specific set of kids as they're going through that, without them becoming, more meaningful as the series goes on.
Yeah, well, that's true. I go by the soap opera adage that they don't just show stuff to show stuff. That something's going to be used later. So I can go frig with that one.
I would love it if we found out, maybe there's more flashbacks of Order 66 and we get to see those younglings and kind of what happened to them, as it went on. But like, if it turns out that one of those younglings was the Jedi that the Inquisitors came and killed on Tatooine in the first episode, right? And another one of the younglings is Reva, who got taken to the dark side, because her whole speech to all the people in Tatooine, right, when they kind of were trying to intimidate everybody, and she put the lightsaber to Owen Lars's neck and all that. Yep. The way that she was talking about how like the Jedi have abandoned you, they've betrayed you. It almost felt like she was talking to herself.
Yeah, it was personal. It felt personal.
Yeah. And it feels like, all right, this is somebody that came from the Jedi and they've been corrupted. They've been brainwashed into thinking that she was abandoned by the Jedi Order, that was wiped out. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like maybe there's more of a connection here to like Darth Vader. I don't know why. It's just my own personal thought, my own personal opinion, but I think we're going to learn a lot more about Reva, and I think we're going to I do think we're going to see more of Vader here in the next couple episodes.
Well, we don't like personal opinions on the show, or
John doesn't speak for any for us. It's only for himself.
Only for himself. It's only his opinion, and that's it.
Yeah,
this is not the view. We don't cover your view. No. Well, that's the whole thing. This series has us talking. I know it has you guys talking out there too. I mean, like literally. We're all like, it can literally go any direction, and it could do a whole 360 and be all of a sudden here goes Mandalorian. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's like I mean, Boba Fett has me so shell shocked. I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised by anything. The next episode could be something totally different. It's a limited series. We only have 4 episodes left. It could be an episode just about Luke, and that all day long. I mean, it could be anything. It could be anything. That's the crazy part. Yeah. We have no idea what the next episode is going to be. Like, seriously, we have no idea.
I mean, I'm ruling out the like time jumps, like within like in 5 years later and anything like that. I'm ruling that out, because I think with 4 episodes, it seems like it's so small that it's going to be pretty much confined to this time. I would think. So
I can see that. I see that. I see what you're saying. You feel like it's going to be a smaller story, not a long arc of like you said, 5 years later, 10 years later. But then, no, it has to be, because I mean, well, no, it doesn't have to be. Luke can stay. Yeah, they can stay. Yeah, they can stay. You're right. It doesn't have to be. So yeah, okay, but you're right. I guess we'll see. I don't know. We'll see.
Admittedly, I think I would be less satisfied if it gets to the 6th episode and we're getting like, Ewan McGregor more of the gray beard, so he's like fully. Alex Guinnessing up into the role. I don't need to see. I'm cool with it being a smaller story, and if everybody's happy about it, and they think they have another story they can tell in that gap with it, then let's do another limited series run on it.
That's true. I'm not with you. I'm not with you on that. I'm with that. That's it, kids. We did an hour and a half. We talked about enough. We're gonna be a dead horse.
We didn't even get into the Book of Boba Fett special on Disney Plus.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
We didn't even get into that.
So I'm gonna end the show now, everybody, for today.
James, your face was great there. You're like,
Yes. Make it into a meme, somebody out there. Make my face into a meme. We're just gonna go ahead and like end the show here. So we will be back next Wednesday, folks. Frank, it's next Wednesday.
Wait, but it was on Friday.
Next Wednesday.
yeah. Wednesday.
Why would they do it on Friday then? That's
Nothing. I
weird.
don't know what you're doing Friday. I won't be with you. So I'll be doing something else. So I don't know what you're gonna do.
Weird. I don't
You
understand.
just sit here. I'll set a Zoom up. You can just sit here and just like, I'll talk to yourself. But next Wednesday is when the next episode comes out, and I believe it's just episode 3, folks. Like they did 2 at first, and then we 3 at a time. So we'll be here for that next at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. John Dunphy, tell them where they can find you and your Star Wars goodness.
Yeah, so my name is John Dunphy. I do another podcast with 2 very, very good friends of mine, Gina Margino, Kyle Petty. Actually, Gina is not around right now. She just got booked on a national tour for the show, Emoji Land. So she's touring up and down the East Coast. So right now, me and Kyle are just we're covering Big Brother Australia, and we're covering the Challenge All Stars 3. And you can find us if you want to watch at all about any of those shows at BB Jury Duty on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me at JDunn89 if you want to see what I'm doing. I like to play a lot of music, and that's
And Frank, I like how he says he has really good friends. We're just his co-hosts on this show, but
no, you're my best friends.
Okay. Okay. Like, sure, he's like my really good, greatest friends on earth. I mean, I just show it down.
No.
I would take bullets for them. I would get, I would kill for them if they said.
Oh my God. And Frank and I, so just so you guys know, Jason Spotlight is still off for a while because James Lott Jr. is tired and taking Sundays off for a while. But Frank and I, people have been asking about us, Frank. We will be back. Don't worry, I'm not doing it forever. Just that the show's on 24/7 all year long. I'm tired. But I am watching it. I am caught up.
Good. Because I've got lots of stuff to say.
I know you do.
So when the time comes, and the mood rises. I'm
gonna say, folks, welcome to GSP Spotlight. Frank, go, and I'll let him talk for like an hour by himself first. Then I'll join in. But we'll be back soon. Don't worry, we'll be back before you know it. Just keep following us. He's a Happy Go Jack if you want to follow him. I'm at James Lott Jr., of course, if you want to follow me. And this show is Obi Wan Kenobi. We are on all the social things and all the streaming services. Also, I'm going to self-promote myself. I'm on Studio City Season 2, Episode 2. Opposite Sean Caden. I'm getting rave reviews, apparently, for my performance as an evil host. So I get to work
as you should.
Thank you.
Fantastic. You're fantastic.
Play what you know, right?
Yes, Frank. I was actually channeling you. So we had a good time on that. That's on Amazon Prime, Emmy-winning series. Check it out, Studio City. Check me out. That's all on there. Episode 2, Season 2. Please check that out.
Airs Fridays, just like our after show.
Yes, exactly.
Every week.
I do love Frank. I swear it. I do. I do love Frank. I do. Everybody, we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for in the chat room. Thank you, everybody. Hayward Wong, my sister, Kirsten Marie, everybody in there, Diane Cap.